Whom do you credit most influential in your life, Corky? And it can be more than one, personal or professional.
It was always my father, even though he passed away when I was 26 years old. I always looked up to my father. He never really was in my life too much because he was always fighting a war. He was with General Patton in World War II. He was in Korea. He was in Vietnam for 3 years. He was in charge of Bay of Pigs. But when we finally moved back to his hometown, we got to be closer, and there was a couple other people that influenced me. Mr. John Harbit down in Birmingham, Alabama, tried to tell me how to run a business, how to operate,
what I should look for.
He had one of the largest construction companies in the United States. He built probably most all the airports in the United States and abroad. So he was out of Birmingham, and he was
Get around, man.
he was. Well, I was an institutional stockbroker, so I called on him.
Okay.
And he, for some reason, saw me, and then I went down to see him in Birmingham, and when he came to Atlanta, I went to dinner with him. So he helped me when I was, 35, 36 years old.
Now I want to pay a little homage to your father and talk a little bit more about him for a moment. How close was he involved with General Patton during World War II? And I want to just give the audience some insight into your father, if you don't mind.
I'd say he was pretty close to General Patton. General Patton lost his chief aide in 1943, and my father became his chief aide in 1943. So my father was with General Patton for a little over 2 years.
Okay.
General Patton had 12 aides, but he had 3 main aides. He had Frank Thomas from Griffin, Georgia, that traveled a day ahead. Woody Woodring from Morganfield, Kentucky, was his driver, and my father was right with him at all times.
Wow. So I've got to bring up, because I'm sure the audience is thinking, that the infamous Jeep accident. Was your father there?
No, he was not there.
Okay.
No, Woody was driving. He was driving the car. It was pouring down rain. He pulled in front of a big truck, and General Patton liked to sit in the middle, and he broke his neck. When he hit him, it threw him over to the left-hand side of the door and broke his neck. But he wasn't with him. There's been books written about that. Everybody's got a different idea.
Yeah.
So I talked to Woody many, many times. He was very nice to my mother after my father passed away, so I've had many discussions about that.
So how do you feel? Do you feel?
It was strictly an accident. It was totally an accident. Woody had so much respect for him. He was his driver the whole time.
Okay.
So he started with him, in 1941 and drove him for 4 years. So, and whether it was in his Jeep or in his car, it just so happened this was a car, and it was just he and Woody were in the car.